Okay, this is my attempt at all pre-dipping of my fence pickets. I'm using 6-inch wide, actually 5.5-inch wide by 5/8 thick by 6-foot tall cedar fence pickets. And I made a 9-foot long trough out of 8-inch diameter PVC pipe, capped the ends to hold in the stain. I have a ball valve drain with a 1/2-inch diameter pipe on this end with a hole in the end of it to be able to drain the excess stain back into the 5-gallon drum. That's kind of an example of my fence pattern over there. 3 horizontal rails, 8-foot tall, 2 3/8 diameter steel fence posts, heavy gauge, with a 2x8 pressure treated kicker board across the bottom, so the pickets will actually ride up off the bottom, so you can weed eat up against the kicker board and not your cedar pickets. Much easier to replace that kicker board than it is 700 pickets. But this is just my dipping trough, and I'll kind of show you. There's a pile of 30 steel fence posts and a bunch of already pre-stained pickets and pre-stained rails. I made the trough 9 feet long so I can obviously do a 2x4 by 8-foot cedar rail. I just found that it's much easier to pre-stain everything. You're getting the bottom, all the sides, everything is pre-stained, so when you put the fence up, screw it in or nail it in, you're done. But once I dip the picket in the stain, then I stand them vertical against the wall over here, and I used a 6-inch wide, extra wide rain gutter, troughed at about a 2 to 5% grade, draining back into an old paint can, so I can reclaim the extra stain that drains off of the boards. I've got 2 of those, and it works really well. You can stack about 4 to 5 pickets out and get quite a few of them on it was a 10-foot section of gutter. I cut it in half, 2 5-foot sections. The V-shaped plywood channel held up with the 2x4s is just a trough that I made to hold up the PVC pipe up off the ground so I'm not breaking my back. And I'm using this Ready Seal stain and sealer all combined. This is a pecan color. I think I got it at Home Depot on sale for $129 for 5 gallons. That's still pretty pricey, but it's rated pretty high. That's a gate over here. I've got the 3 2x4 rails on the gate post. Those are, I believe, 1 1/4 inch, 1 1/8 steel tubes. It forms a square. You can buy the corner brackets to make the corners out of it. You can buy the T-brackets to be able to put your rails across horizontally. And then I used some long, I think 3-inch self-tapping hex head screws to attach the rails to the galvanized steel fence. So anyway, let me show you how I am dipping this. You don't want to fill the trough too awful full. I've got plastic down on my garage floor, but you can end up with a heck of a mess. Let me show you. You definitely want to be wearing gloves when doing this. You can buy some 5mm disposable gloves at Harbor Freight or 7mm surgical gloves. Picket. Dip it in really fast. I usually hold it for a few seconds to let it drain off the majority of the stain. Flip it over. Stand it up. My fence is fairly long, so I'm going to have nearly 650 pickets. I've done one in the past where I've had to spray stain it and the stain goes everywhere. And then I'm doing what they call a board-on-board fence on one side of the rails only. You'll have to put up a picket, and then you have about a 3.5-inch gap, and then another picket, and you keep on doing that, and then you come back and you lay another picket on top of the first 2 pickets to create a solid privacy fence. I usually leave these up here in my rain gutter to dry for several days. These boards have already been drying for 2 or 3 weeks, so they're dry. You don't want to dip them in here green. I haven't done the math. I don't know if this will end up using more stain versus spraying, but by the time I rent a sprayer and spend several days spraying over 300 feet of fence, front and back, you got to get in the neighbors' yards to do it. Plus, this gets the board 100% stained, all edges, bottom, everything. Versus if I put it up first and then try to stain it, I'm not going to get 100% coverage. Finding the pickets, a good picket, has been the challenge. Cedar is it's a challenging wood to work with. It's kind of light. I'm going to be nailing mine to the rails. I'm using stainless steel ring shank nails with a nail gun. It's faster. They have glue on them along with the ring shank nails. I've had good luck with them in the past. The stainless steel is a little bit more expensive. You can buy them online. You can buy coils of them. I think I've got like a box of 1 3/4 inch by 0.09 inch stainless steel ring shank nails, Bostitch. I think I got 3,600 nails for like $99. I'm going to try something a little different this time on this fence. I've built fences in the past. I'm not going to use concrete on every single one of my 2 3/8 inch diameter posts that are 2 feet in the ground. I'm going to use what they call secure set. It's a part A, part B foam. It's a very high density, hard plastic foam. When it cures, it's hard as a rock. As many posts as I have to do, mixing the concrete is not a fun task. If I used concrete, then you have to track a wheelbarrow all over the yard, and I've got a really nice backyard. I really don't want to damage it with a wheelbarrow. And besides that, I'd have to make 2 trips to the store to get 80-pound bags of concrete. Who wants to lug around 80-pound bags of concrete? It makes a mess. It's a lot more work. The secure set is a little more expensive. Not double, but it is probably 1.5 times more than just using concrete. But boy, it's really easy to use. Easy cleanup. I'm using secure set with my 6-inch diameter post holes, 2 foot deep in the ground. You basically get your holes all pre-drilled, set your steel post up, have some support for those steel posts. I made some little kickers for my posts. I put 3 of them on. I can hold up like 4 or 5 of the posts. And then it takes about 12 or 13 ounces of part A and 12 or 13 ounces of part B. Put it in another container, mix it for about 30 seconds, pour it in around the post, and that's it. You're done. 5 to 6 minutes later, you can remove your supports for your steel posts. And about an hour later, I like to give a little bit more than an hour, but an hour or so later, you can start mounting your rails to your posts. It's set. You don't have to wait 24 hours for the concrete to cure. And the secure set is impervious to water. Got a lifespan of probably 40 years. All the electrical companies around this area in Oklahoma use them for supporting massive poles. So I think it'll hold up a little 6-foot tall fence just fine. And manufacturers out of Edmond, you can go on their website, secureset.com, and it says, there's all kinds of videos you can watch. So this is it. Like I said before, earlier in the video, the cedar pickets are the toughest thing I've had to find. That have been good cedar pickets. I don't want any knots. So I've been going to many stores like Home Depot or Lowe's or whatnot. And having to sort through hundreds and hundreds of pickets to get good ones. I mean, I didn't want any knots, and I wanted them to have roughly the same grains and stuff. But occasionally I'll have a picket with a knot. But these are only 5/8 inch thick. I wanted to go with a 7/8 inch thick, but these I believe were $3.05 a piece. The 7/8 thick were $5.25 a piece, which is a huge difference. when you're buying over 600 of them. I think once they're up, the 5/8 will be just fine. I've used them in the past. It's just that the Lowe's or Home Depot stores, the Alta brand pickets are not the highest quality. You got to sort through and get good ones. Takes a little bit of time, but in the end, it pays off. Well, that's pretty much it. I've got several more to go, but there's a rack of them drying and it's draining into my pan. I've got a stack over here left to do, and those all turned out really well. I've got about 100 2x4 by 8 foot long cedar rails, and there might be 100 or so pickets here, so I've got a long ways to go yet. But it's been interesting, challenging to do, but I think pre-dipping your pickets first is money well spent. And I'll show you really quick what my little kickers look like that I made to support the rails, or the stainless steel galvanized fence posts. It's just a 1x2 that's 8 foot long. I cut in half and then put these little hangers on the end. They screw into the end about 1.5 inches or so. You want to pre-drill the sticks so they don't split. And then these are generally just U-shaped. I bent these out a little bit so that they actually go around the post. So you can put 2 or 3 of these up really fast. Put a level on your post, hold it in place. They're cheap and easy to make, unless you got somebody else to help you hold the post. Anyway, pre-staining cedar fence pickets. Here's my Simpson strong tie brackets that I'm using. It's kind of out of focus a little bit, but there's my nails. The brackets I'm using are like this. Strong ties. But anyway, good luck on your fence building.